those are my two most interesting questions that I responded to on TeachersConnect. There were a couple more questions. It is the first day of school. Here's what I'm choosing to wear. This is a dress that you guys saw in one of my hauls from Nordstrom Rack. It's by Madewell, I believe it was. I was unsure of it just because, but I think I'm glad that I kept it. It's very comfortable. It's gonna be hot today, and I think this will be the perfect option for the heat. I was going to wear these with black shoes, but I'm deciding to try with these red shoes today. These are from Target, from the line A New Day. I got those a few weeks ago. And then I'm wearing this watch that I'm trying out. I'm not 100% sure if I like it. Maybe if I put it here. It's just different from what I normally get. And then that's it. I am wearing some red lipstick today. I don't know if you guys can tell, but just to try and tie in with my red shoes. So wish me luck. It's the first day. I will talk to you guys whenever I can. Hello, it is 3:41 on Monday, August 6th, the first day of school. I am in my classroom. My teammates are about to come back because I just saw them. So if I stop talking, it's because they're walking in. Overall, I had a very good first day. I have 25 students as of today, all very sweet. It was a very calm, cool, and collected day, so I'm feeling very optimistic. We pretty much just spent some time getting to know each other. We did only one of the get to know the teacher activities because, as you know, you plan things and then things always take a little bit longer. We had our assembly at 9, and then we came back. It was recess. We were on inclement weather, meaning the kids can go outside because it is 100+ degrees out. Ladies? Yes. I'm vlogging. You can come in though. So recess had to be indoors, so I had them watch a Disney short, and in the middle of recess I had to handle some personal business because I think someone has gotten into my checking account, so that got a little chaotic. And then they started a prerequisite test so that I could see where exactly they are at with math, starting as 3rd graders. And they went to lunch. We came back. They worked on their prerequisite test a little bit more, and then we just did a little go noodle activity to kind of relax, and then we took them outside for a hot and happening pickup. It is hot outside, and we don't have a lot of shade where they had to wait, so we were out there for a good 30 minutes, and by the end of it, all of us teachers were pretty much melting. So we had a brief staff meeting after that to address our drop-off and pickup procedures to see how we can make that better. And then since then, my teammates and I, Peggy and Jenny, have been looking at our lesson plans for the next day. We're just taking it one day at a time at this point because they are both new to the grade level, and I was just telling Peggy that I pretty much worked on my own most of the year last year, and all the thoughts and things that I had were just internal. I didn't really have to articulate or share them with anybody. So to make it more manageable for not only them but myself, we're just going over wonders one day at a time so that I'm not overwhelming them. So we just talked about what we're going to do tomorrow. We are getting ready to make an anchor chart to talk about character, which is our comprehension skill to start the school year off, and we're also going to eat some cake. Jenny bought us some chocolate cake, and we're about to have some of that. Speaking of which, my highlight for the first day was obviously meeting my kids for the first, or meeting my class. Well, not even meeting. Some of them I met, but just starting the day, the school year with my class. But one of my moms, her daughter is now in 8th grade, and she's one of my all-time favorite students. She's another one of those girls that was just smart, athletic, just well-rounded. The mom had a training here today because she works for the district, and she dropped off a bag of candy bars for me. And it's not so much the candy bars, it's just the gesture. So if she's watching, Monica, if for some reason you watch these, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I miss having you guys as a family. I get to work with so much. So I'm gonna stop talking now because I need to have some cake and we have work to do. So all in all, on a scale of 1 to 10, I would give my first day of school a 10, aside from the heat. So I will check in with you guys a little bit later. I forgot to show you guys Jenny's finished product. She's feverishly trying to straighten up, I think. But her room came out very nice. I'm jealous. I've told many people that you're not gonna know if you're in a classroom or you might be in Joanna Gaines's house. So I'm gonna show it to you. Here it is. Brendan, you gonna say hi? Oh, that's my student, Brandon. That's Jenny's son. I have permission for him to be on camera. There she is. Wave, Jenny. Look at her trying to straighten up over there.
Yes.
But look how nice this is. Look at the ceiling. There's little light bulbs. Let me show you some of my favorite touches. Let's walk to her door. Where did you get these from? Are these like from Michael's or something? Look at this, you guys.
This
Look
is
at it.
schoolgirl style.
Mm-hmm.
Pack
What's
of the
this?
mason jars from CM School Supply. These are just, Michael's, I believe I bought these, and they come in bunches, so you just take what you want or take what you need out, and I just stapled, and
Look at it.
and I got this idea from her, and
Oh, did she do that somewhere?
she did it in her industrial sheet collection.
We should really be getting sponsored by her. But I just like it because, she has an ant problem too. You just turn, and every now and then there's just mason jars with greenery. There's some there. Then you walk, look, there's some more over here. I really am jealous. I really wish I would have had that idea. I just think it looks nice. It's very calming. So this is Jenny's room. Now I have to check with Peggy. Peggy might let you see a room and she might not. But let's find out. Let's find out. This is gonna be, it might be Peggy's debut. Jenny, she's been here, done that. Peggy?
I'm like
Can I?
drinking a sip of water.
This is my newest teammate, Peggy.
Hi.
Peggy is one of the nicest people I've ever met. Super sweet. She says thank you. If I slapped her in the face, she would say thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Latonya.
But I would never do that. So this is Peggy. She taught 4th grade last year, and then she got moved to 3rd grade. The 4th grade team is very sad, but Jenny and I are very happy. So I'm going to show you Peggy's room. Peggy got this room done in 12 hours. Maybe not that quick, but it was, I tell people I came in on a Saturday. Peggy had like a piece of paper on the wall, and then I came in on Monday and her whole room was done. So I'm going to show it to you.
Okay.
This is,
Eating your cake.
look at Peggy's room. Very similar to Mrs. D'Angelo's because hers came out very nice, but just the same, nice, calm. We just laugh now because all of our classrooms are gray, so the kids will be nice and calm in the F-Pod. But just look how nice this is. But Peggy literally did this in like, I want to say like,
3 weekends.
I don't even, all the walls were papered within a matter of days, like papered and bordered.
That's a joke. The one that says
Or
stuff.
says
Stuff.
Who did that?
My husband. Because we don't know what we're on to put up
I
there
had to
yet.
show.
You're gonna show
Like she
that?
has a really sweet husband, and he came in, and at the very least, the room was papered and bordered within a couple of days, which is amazing because she did. I don't know if you can tell, but she went floor to ceiling also, and she just pointed out this funny board right here. All the other ones are labeled all nice and academically. Math, writing. That one just says stuff. Like.
We're gonna take it down, but we just thought it was funny.
She's not gonna keep it, but it is kind of funny. That was her husband's joke. So these are my teammates. They're very lovely ladies. I'm sure you'll see them.
We're so excited to work with Latonya.
Oh.
She's awesome.
I just pretend. I really don't know what I'm doing. So that's our room. We're gonna get to work. We're gonna eat some cake, and we'll talk to you guys later. Bye, guys. All right, today's outfit is a dress that I showed you guys from Old Navy. I showed you this dress over the summer. I am wearing these black wedge sandals from DSW. I know I showed you those as well. And then I'm wearing this black and gold watch, which is from Michael Kors. And this, every time, I just never know what I want to do. I'm wearing this, how about that? This bracelet from Goriana that won't focus. And that is it. So I'll talk to you guys later. Hey guys, you're at a new angle. I found a way to put you on this side of my desk instead of that side, which is where I normally vlog from. It is 4:30. I'm in my classroom. I just found an ant on my desk. That's something they don't tell you in your teacher credentialing program, that a good portion of your teaching life will be spent dealing with things like ants in your classroom. But that's beside the point. So it is the second day of school. Things went well. I am still, there's an ant on my leg. I am still enjoying my class. I am down to 24 students. I had a student who moved to private school, which is unfortunate because I liked the little bit of her that I got to know. As far as today, this was our first full day. It's another hot day. What's sad is that this is the first week of school, but it's so hot that the kids cannot go outside, so they're cooped up. But this was the first full day. We just basically, we did a little bit with Wonders, and I promise you, sorry, when the school year gets like in gear and me and my team are kind of at a place where we have like a groove going, I will show you the plans that we are putting together for Wonders and how we're using it. But we just kind of introduced the very first theme to our students today. We are on Unit 1, Week 1, which focuses on how or what can you learn from reading, or what can you learn from stories, and their comprehension skill is character, and their vocabulary skill is figuring out words using context clues. So this year, because I did this last year and I thought it was very effective, I will explicitly every single time tell the kids what their comprehension skill is and their vocabulary skill is, because I felt like when I started doing that last year, the kids were focused on that and making sure they understood it as we read these stories, and it gave some of their story reading purpose as we were discussing the stories together. So we did a little bit of Wonders, but a good portion of the day was still devoted to some like initial assessments, the math prerequisite test, as well as we got them started on iReady reading. Most kids are not done with iReady reading, so I will give them time to finish tomorrow, and we kind of need to start iReady math, and they still need to take their STAR test. So I did let the kids know that unfortunately this first week of school is really filled with a lot of assessment. I said, but the good news is by doing that is I get a lot of information about them and ways that I can better serve them as a teacher, and so, you know, I kind of apologized. But aside from that, nothing really exciting happened. I did have a meeting with the district rep after school because we are using School Messenger for the first time. We are using School Messenger for the first time, and we're switching over district-wide. So I could still use Remind, but they, as of right now, would discontinue our ability to use Remind through the district server in October. So when they told me that, I said, okay, let me just accept it and move on to School Messenger. But we've just had some technical issues with getting it set up and having parents be able to join our groups so that we can communicate. And I don't know how much I've mentioned Remind in the past, but it's a huge communication tool that I've used in my class for the past 3 or 4 years, and I've only had, for the most part, parents loving it because they felt very connected to what was going on. And so we were having these technical issues with having parents being able to join. So me and another teacher met with the like tech guys for the district and kind of told them the issues that we were having, and they're very diligently working on fixing that by contacting School Messenger, because it's nothing that they can fix at the district level. It is School Messenger that needs to make some changes. But they did say if they can't get it fixed to our liking so that we feel that we can communicate with our parents, that we might be able to have the option to continue to use Remind until they get it fixed. So that is promising, because I was telling them I did not realize how much I rely on Remind until I didn't have it. So for example, yesterday was the first day of school, and normally I would send out a text that just lets them know first day forms went home, here's the due date, and I couldn't even do that. And so I just right now feel so beside myself that I can't just shoot these quick text messages out. I do have Class Dojo, but for whatever reason, I'm just not a fan of communicating through Class Dojo. And one of the reasons I preferred Remind is because those come up and they look like a text message. And I know for me, when I'm looking at my phone and a partial message comes up, if it's enough for me to read and know I need to look at the whole thing right away, I open it right away. Whereas something Class Dojo related, I'm just really notified that someone sent me a message and I may or may not look at it right away. So hopefully that gets figured out. So I just have to tell myself that the next week or so is gonna be a little bit me going day by day, because it is the first week. There is a lot of assessment going on. So I just finished meeting with Peggy and Jenny, and we just looked at what we're doing with Wonders tomorrow and talked about how we wanna spend our prep time while the kids are at PE. So I don't really have anything. Oh, I can show you what we did with Wonders. So our theme, or our comprehension skill, is character. I did want to show you this. And one of my goals this year is to be better about making anchor charts and then actually using them and having them up as a point of reference. So I used this book that everyone and their mother has, I'm sure, by Jennifer Saravallo, called Reading Strategies. And I know the way that I use it today is not necessarily the way it's intended to be used, but it is the way that I chose to use it. So when I found out the comprehension skill was character and understanding how a character feels and what they think, I looked in there to see if she had any good samples of posters that she's created to help teach that in more of a guided reading setting, and she did. So we made this poster, which came straight out of her book, that just talks about the comprehension skill of character. This is verbatim what's in the book. So it just started off by saying, readers pay attention to the characters in their stories. These are the things they notice. And then they ask themselves, what does this tell me about the character? So what I chose to do to introduce the comprehension skill is I read the book, Mr. Peabody's Apples, which is a very good book if you've never read it. But it is a good book to teach character. And so we talked about what happened in the story, and really analyze Mr. Peabody's reaction to some of the things that occurred, and use that to kind of practice analyzing a character. So here's the book. It is by Madonna. Fun fact, I said Madonna's name to my students and none of them had any clue as to who she was, which made me feel exceptionally old. So we used that, and then I had them discuss with their groups what kind of person they thought Mr. Peabody was. We looked at some pictures to show how he must be feeling at a particular point in the story. And then eventually I gave them a post-it note and had them tell me if they were to describe Mr. Peabody in a word, what would that word be and why? Making sure to use evidence from the story. And then I put them up here. So I will leave this up throughout this theme, and that's what I'm gonna do. This mess here was us introducing the concept. So the concept, or the essential question for the first week of Wonders for us, is what can reading teach you, or what can stories teach you? And these were all the things that they said. What was projected on the board was a picture of a little girl, and these were just like the things that they said. So one of the questions Peggy, my teammate that you met yesterday, asked me was, do I have them write it down? And one of the points that I made to her is that a lot of times I don't have kids write things down on paper, because sometimes that actually gets in the way of learning, because they're so focused on writing and copying that they're not really thinking about the conversation that you're having. So a lot of times we just discuss it. I'll record their responses on the board, and I feel like sometimes that's good enough for what you want them to do. So that was probably the meatiest thing we did today in terms of teaching, was that. So right now I'm getting ready to clean up. This is my desk at the moment. It's a mess. It's disorganized. And I am going to go home, I think, because I need to cook. And I just want to go home. I need to cook and I want to go home. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to work from home, but that's it. So that was my Tuesday. I really do think overall, let me put you guys down, that I have a very sweet class. Very polite. Even the kids that are, you know, more of a behavior issue really aren't at all. They're just probably a little bit more active than the average third grader, or a little bit more distracted, but they are very responsive to just me correcting them. So that is day 2 of the 2018-2019 school year. So I may or may not check in with you when I get home. There's an ant on my desk. So with that, I'm gonna say bye for now, but I may check in with you guys when I get home. If not, you will definitely see me tomorrow. So I'll see you when I see you. Good morning, here's today's outfit. I am wearing a dress that's actually not new, but it may seem new.
because I haven't worn it in a long time. It's from Old Navy. I had to take it to the dry cleaners because it needed to have a strap repaired. So I'm wearing this with the vest that I believe my mom bought for me as a birthday present or something. So I'm not sure where it's from. These denim sandals from DSW that are not new. And then I'm wearing this necklace that has my initial on it, and this old Tiffany's bracelet, and a black watch from Marc Jacobs. So I will talk to you guys later on today.
Hey guys, it is Thursday. It's 4 o'clock. I did not get a chance to vlog at all yesterday. It has been a little bit challenging. I can't vlog during recess or lunch because we have been on inclement weather all week because it's too hot, which means those would be times that maybe I would check in throughout the day, but I haven't been able to because my students are either in the class or I'm hustling and bustling trying to get to the bathroom and back. So I apologize for not checking in yesterday. You really didn't miss anything too exciting. As far as my class and my teaching is concerned, a good portion of the day was spent with them doing iReady testing in reading. We did a little bit with Wonders, but not a whole lot, but there wasn't a whole lot of heavy duty teaching and learning going on because we're trying to get them through these assessments so we have some data. As far as today is concerned, they had iReady math, and I want to show you a couple of things that I did that I'm pretty happy about, and things that I'm working on trying to be better about, things that I want to improve upon as a teacher. But first and foremost, this week I just have not gotten in the groove in the sense of I get home and I'm so just haven't been efficient with my time because I think my brain hasn't accepted the fact that I really do need to budget my time wisely. I have things I need to do in a certain amount of time. So I go home, I end up talking to my sister on the phone or laying around, or I don't know. I have just felt a little bit off this week. And I know it's because it's the first week of school, but I feel a little bit more off than I normally do that first week. So next week should be better. Things should start feeling more routine than they do now. So there's that. But as far as today, they did do iReady testing, but we did do some work with vocabulary, and we did kind of touch on the first math lesson that we are going to be doing in chapter 1 of Go Math. So I will show you the Wonder stuff first. So we reviewed the shorter story that we read yesterday called Bruno's New Home. And in the shorter stories of Wonder, there's always some vocabulary words that are really just given to the kids because they are words that they just may not be familiar with. They're not like academic vocabulary words or anything like that. So with this story, here was the list of words for Bruno's New Home. Ached, concentrate, discovery, educated, effort, improved, inspired, and satisfied. And as I turn the camera around, last year I felt like I didn't really do a good job with doing much with those words. There's no vocabulary test that goes along with those. It really is just more of an exposure thing from my understanding. So this year I'm trying to be better. So what I decided to have them do is I had them make these, let me see if I can pick them up while holding you. I had them make these little cards, and let me turn it around so you can see it better. So I think technically these are called Frere models. So in the middle is the word, up here is the definition that I provided. Then they illustrate what the word means to them. They give an example and they give a non-example. So since there were only 8 words, 3 kids were doing the same word. And at first I was like, oh, that's too bad. But then at the same time, I do like the idea that we'll get 3 different interpretations of the same word through illustrations, or 3 different types of non-examples, or 3 different types of examples to share with the class. So I gave them time to do that, and then we did the Your Turn practice book page that goes along with this story that covers vocabulary together. And the basic or the gist of that page was they were asked a question like, what's another word for working hard? So they had to identify that the vocabulary word that would match with that definition would be effort, and then they had to write a sentence using that word. So we would come up with those sentences together. I tried to make it fun, so I offered table points anytime someone came up with a good sentence, or anytime someone could identify the word that matched the definition they were giving. So we did that, and this is when I really feel like, okay, we're doing better. I never did anything like this last year where I specifically talked about syllabication in these words and kind of focused on, okay, if you see the word satisfied and you're not quite sure what to say, breaking it down into syllables can help you read it a little bit better. So we went over that a little bit as well. So that's what we did with Wonders today, in between them taking their iReady test. And then for math, where did I put those? Where did I put those math posters? Oh, they're over here. For math, I didn't start the math lesson today. We have not started actually teaching lessons from Go Math because we're taking all these iReady tests. But we thought it would be a good idea to expose them to the first lesson and kind of see what they know. So we used another Kagan structure. This one I was taught at a staff meeting last year by a friend of mine who also teaches in the district, but she serves as like our district Kagan coach is what they are calling her. So she has a job shared position where she's in the class a good portion of the week, and then I think she's an 80-20. So 80% of the week she's in the class, which amounts to 4 days out of the week. And then I think that one day that she's not in the class, she's going to different sites coaching. So at one of our staff meetings last year, she showed us something called Carousel Preview. I have done Carousel Review and Carousel Present before, and this is just a variation on that, and it's called, you'll see why it's called a carousel in a second. So I'm talking really fast. At each table, everyone started out with a piece of construction paper, and it just had a word at the top. So this one had addition, this one had subtraction, this one had place value, this one had number lines, odd and even numbers, and then this one had estimating. So the way it works is at their table groups, in groups of 4, one person has a marker in their hand. They have this blank poster to start with, and you tell them that you're gonna give them a certain amount of time to just think about the word on the poster and think about anything they know about that word or remember about that. And it's quiet think time, so they're not discussing at all. So then they get think time, and then after their think time, you give them time to discuss as a group everything that they remembered. And one person is just recording everything that their group members said. So whatever they remember, and they're not arguing about whether or not what someone is saying is right or wrong. The recorder is simply recording. So you give them time to do that. Then after time's up, you have them stand up, and then they rotate to the next desk where they're gonna see a different poster. So they might go to the next desk, and it says subtraction. So they're gonna rotate to every table, so they'll see each of these posters, and the procedure is the same. When they get to the table, they'll sit down, they will have some time to think about it on their own, so it'll be silent, then time to talk as a team and record their thoughts, and then go on about their way. Now, when they get to a team, and the poster's there and there are already comments, which happens every round except for the first round, they will put symbols by things that are already present on the poster, if they can. So for example, if they're in the second round and they've done their poster and now they're getting ready to start another one, and since there was a group there before, there's already comments, they have the option of putting some symbols by what's already on the poster. So they would put a heart if they just want to say, I like your thinking, a check mark if it's something that they had also remembered or they were going to say, or a question mark if they don't understand what someone is saying, or they actually disagree or don't think it should go on that particular chart. So every team goes to every table, and then they end at their very own table, and then you're done. And then you review the posters. Since that process took a little bit longer than normal because it was their first time, we didn't review them today. We will do that tomorrow. But I did let them know this was a preview and explain the concept of what a preview is, that this is giving them a preview of what's to come in the very first lesson or two of Go Math. And I read them a book before this that would help. Hold on one second. Okay, I had to grab this from Jenny's room because I let her borrow it. So this is a math book that I've had for years, and when I moved into this classroom, I got really frustrated with myself because I totally forgot. I had a ton of picture books that were just focused on math, teaching some sort of mathematical concept. So when I was doing some early planning last year, when I had Missy, my student teacher, I took the time to kind of pull my books out and correlate them with lessons that I would use them in. So this one is called Coyotes All Around, and it's from a series of picture books that are called like Math Start, and it'll tell you in the corner what concept this book is addressing. So I read this book before we did this activity, and I told the kids, you know, listen to this book because it's gonna help you with the math activity that we're doing later. And what was really nice is the essential question for wonders, this theme or this learning block is talking about what stories can teach you. So I also tied this into that and said, at the end, let's talk about what we learned from this story. So I did that as the read aloud today. And I'll try and remember to link this book. I'm sure you can find it on Amazon, but I bought this book years ago. Like, we weren't even using Go Math when I bought this. So my plan is, what I would like to do with these is find somewhere to hang these in the classroom, because one of my goals this year is to be better with things like student produced work, anchor charts, and having things up that reflects what we're actually doing and what we're learning. So having these up, and then at the end of the chapter, instead of doing a carousel preview, we can do a carousel review with these same charts and compare the preview chart to the review chart, if that makes sense. So that is my plan. So that was my Thursday. So far, I mean, I really do think I have a sweet class. They're very sweet, very polite. You know, it's just a matter of time to kind of get them trained the way that I like my kids to behave and conduct themselves in class, but they don't need a whole lot of work. They're actually pretty easy to deal with. And I think that's it. That's really all I wanted to share with you at this particular point. Liza is coming later today. We're gonna film a video together for this TeachersConnect collaboration that I'm working on with several other teachers on YouTube. And so we're gonna do that together because I know you guys enjoy seeing her. It will also be a video that I will just put up on my channel about, you know, times where we felt like we were becoming a better teacher. And then her and I are going to dinner afterwards because it was her birthday last week, so I'm treating her to dinner. So all in all, a good day. So I need to shut you guys down so that I can do a little bit of work before Liza gets here. But when she gets in here, I will definitely check in and maybe have her share like how she's doing with her first week with her new 4th graders. And then we'll go from there. So I will talk to you when she gets here. Hi guys. We're getting ready to film this video for TeachersConnect, but I thought Liza should share with you how her first few days of the new school year are going.
Is this like a vlog or is this?
I'm gonna put this in the vlog.
Oh.
Yeah.
My school year, guys, I am in the twilight zone right now where time just stands still. It's Thursday today, and it feels like it should be about September. Do they know we've been on inclement weather?
Yes, I've said we've been on inclement weather all week. So there's nothing better than kids being back to school and cooped up in the classroom.
And just today, it was clear enough where our principal allowed us to do walk and talk in the morning.
Oh.
And we were excited. And then at the end of the school day, I opened the door to let the kids pack up, and it literally smelled like a bonfire. And I said,
Because the fires.
then that just means we cannot be
I think we should just start school in September.
go for it, Union.
So
Yeah, but other than that, it's been going good. My 4th graders are very sweet. They're, you know, they're 4th graders right now, early, young.
she's getting them in shape.
You know what's a new experience for me?
What? I think you're gonna say the same thing I'm gonna say.
Like seeing your kids?
Yes!
Yes! Because we always taught 5th grade and we never saw them. And now there was a little bit of like awkwardness where I'm like, why aren't you in my line? And yeah. So
I just told somebody that I said it's weird to see them the next year because normally I just send them away and never see them again.
Yeah, that was a very sweet thing.
Good morning. Here's today's outfit. Today I am wearing one of my shirts that I got from Teacher Tees. It's the one that says educator and was Friends inspired. I'm keeping it simple today because it's hot and I just want to have as little on as possible. So I'm wearing this shirt, and I am wearing it with some jeans, obviously, and then I thought it would be fun to try and wear them with my white Birkenstocks since the letters are white. So this is what I'm wearing for Friday, and I will see you guys later. So it is 10 minutes to 7 on Friday. I have officially completed my first full week of the school year, and you know what? I'm sleepy. I'm tired. I could go to bed right now. I meant to vlog a little bit more during the day because we actually had recess. The kids were able to go outside, just walk and talk, because the air quality is not the great because of the fire. But what ended up happening? Oh, today, because of our schedule, the kids went to recess and then went straight to PE. So for me and my team, recess kind of became like an early start to our prep period. And we spent our prep period looking at how we are going to alter the chapter 1 math test to correlate with some of the rearranging that we did for chapter 1, thanks to the intentional math planning that I have been working on. So that's what we did. I did record a little bit of that. Maybe I'll include it somewhere in a split screen with this, or after that, or maybe I included it before. But I'll show it to you in greater detail when we get closer to the time of taking the test and explain like what we were doing and how we decided to eliminate some questions. But overall, this week went well. I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time talking. I have 24 students in total. They all seem very sweet. I have a couple of boys who are a little bit more active. One's more so impulsive, and that's the biggest challenge that I have, but they are both very responsive to just like redirection, letting them know what they need to do. I do have one student who I thought did not speak much English, but he speaks a fair amount, and I can't remember if I mentioned this earlier. So we're working with him. Luckily, I speak a decent amount of Spanish, but I did tell him I'm always going to speak English first, and if you don't understand, let me know and we'll go from there. And I only have like 8 girls and the rest are boys, which I don't think has ever happened to me before. As far as my team, it's been great working with them, and I think it's going to be a good year. And I don't know, great week. I do want to show you, in case you didn't get a close-up view this morning when I did an outfit of the day, I did wear this shirt from Teacher Tees. I really like it. I got quite a few compliments on it, and people got it. Like a couple people were like, oh, it looks like Friends. And I said, exactly, that's why I wanted it. So I wore my Birkenstocks you guys saw this morning. If you're interested, I will link the I don't know if I can link the site, but it's called Teacher Tees. You can follow them on Instagram, but I'm pretty sure they have a site that I can link. But they have given me a discount code if you want to take a look at some of their t-shirts. It was comfortable, it fits well. It was great. So I'll be wearing another one. Maybe next week. There's a couple other ones that I showed in a previous vlog. So, but this one was my favorite, so I wanted to wear it first. Now, I did realize I forgot to tell you 2 exciting things yesterday. One is my Storybird project is done. It is live on the site. I will be sure to link that in the description box. Basically, what I did is I worked with them and we created this writing prep series for grades 3 through 6. I was filming kind of like the hosting portion and the introductory portions of these lessons.
so that's what I've been working on, and that was the thing that was causing me stress, only because there were a lot of videos that I needed to take care of, and there was a deadline, not because it was difficult working with the company or anything like that. So that happened, and my iPad for my donor shoes project arrived earlier this week. So again, thank you to everyone that donated to that project. Super excited to get it set up and be back on track with that. So before I wrap up the vlog for the week, of course, I want to check in with you to let you know of some posts that I found interesting or intriguing intriguing on TeachersConnect. And this one from Angela, I'm going to read it, and it stuck out to me because we just got an email this afternoon, or maybe this morning, from one of our superintendents that was basically giving us some tips on how to find balance with your life. And you know, then this was also posted, and I'm like, everybody's thinking of this because I've been thinking of it too. But Angela says, anyone have suggestions to maintain healthy behaviors once school starts? I've always let myself come last in the priority order of teaching, coaching, being a dog mom, etc. I like the gym, I like healthy eating, but I acknowledge that takeout and wine are enticing after a long day. Any routines, apps, anything that helps keep you on track? So that's what she asked. She got quite a bit of responses, 9 responses in total, and it's because I think we're all struggling with that. So I read through the responses, and I told her, like, a lot of people said, oh, I leave by this time, hands down, no questions asked. I can't do that. I find that having a deadline as to when I need to leave causes me more stress. I just will leave when I feel I'm ready for the next day, and sometimes that comes much earlier, sometimes that comes much later, and it depends on if I have a meeting that day or if I have to be somewhere. But for me, even though I can't stand waking up early and I'm not necessarily a fan of exercise, that's one thing that I do to try and take care of myself, because it does make me feel better. It does get my day off on the right track. And so I'm pretty rigid about the days that I go to exercise, and I don't schedule things in the morning. Like if parent conference week comes, I won't come in earlier to allow for morning conferences, because I really feel like I mentally and physically need that time. Obviously, I'll meet with parents earlier in the morning on the days that I don't go, but the days that I have scheduled are my days. And so I mentioned that's one thing that I do. Also, I view cooking for myself, Blue Apron, is a form of self-care. I don't want to be eating out of paper plates. I don't want to be eating bowls of cereal for dinner. I work too hard to not have a proper meal. And you know, this year I want to work more on just carving out time, at least on Sundays, to just relax. Like right now I'm having this dilemma of, do I just not want to do any more work for the day because I'm tired and it's Friday, and just enjoy the rest of my evening, and then do some work tomorrow on Sunday because I have to. I have work that I need to get done for next week just because it's the beginning of the year and things are hectic. But just like setting better boundaries about, like, just knowing this job will never be done. So there comes a point where you have to say, I'm just resting and relaxing. So that was Angela's question. And then there was another one that was talking about, let me make sure I get the person's name right, because I read quite a few. Oh, here it is. Gosh, it took me a minute. So then there was another one that I get asked about a lot, and even though I did a video on this last year, I thought I would respond to it, and it was just basically about dealing with negative personalities or negative environments at work. And it came from Brielle, and she says, sorry, I'm moving you guys around a lot because I have to click on this. She said, hey all, our school is going through some big changes this year. A new school is opening next year, and our school will be split in half. Everyone is really negative about it and grumpy. They're already thinking like we've split. Suggestions on how to keep a positive attitude in negative environments. So for me, the gist of my response is that a lot of times, if you just don't feed into people being negative and like co-sign on the negative things that they're saying or doing, then they start to some degree feel uncomfortable because they realize you're not responding or engaging, and they'll tone it down. And sometimes the fact that you're not responding or engaging kind of inspires them to kind of take a step back and stop, because nobody wants really, well, some people do, but most people don't want to be that negative person just in the room and everybody's trying to just move on with their lives and they're still harping on the negative thing. So then there's that, and then also just recognizing that some people are just negative and there's nothing that you're going to be able to say that's going to change that about them. And if you get to the point and you realize that's the kind of person you're dealing with, then just free yourself of the stress of trying to fix that. All you can really do is maintain yourself, have a positive outlook. And in my response to her, I said, I don't even necessarily think I'm the most positive person. I know a lot of you have said something along those lines, like you're so positive or optimistic. And I'm just like anybody else. If I don't like something, I can get myself stuck in a negative moment. But I really do try and either A, just stop and think before I react emotionally, or B, if I have stopped and thought about something and I don't like it, just like I'll take a moment to vent about it, but then at some point I gotta just kind of let it go and just move on. But especially if I realize I'm dealing just with the negative person, I don't waste a whole lot of time trying to change them, because there comes a point where you realize you can't change them. And when they are extremely negative and I just find their whole being to be not to my liking, then I just don't interact with them if I don't have to, because I don't want that energy in my day-to-day life. So I just thought those two questions were interesting because they are questions that I'm often asked about, or advice teachers are seeking out, especially newer teachers, where they just kind of want to know what to do in either those situations where people are negative or just finding ways to stay balanced. And me having a balanced life is a struggle for me all the time. Like, I just take on a lot of things, not because I'm a people pleaser or anything like that, but I'm just, I don't know. I think it's just not in my nature to sit still for too long. Although I'm really good at taking naps, as you guys saw over the summer, and just being lazy. But even in my laziness, I find myself doing things. So those are my two most interesting questions that I responded to on TeachersConnect. There were a couple more questions. One, if you guys know if there's anyone out there that has recently put together a resume and successfully gotten a job. There was one lady, and I have seen her several times before. So let me make sure I say her name. Joy. Joy is looking for information on what resumes look like nowadays, which I think is a good question, because I know when I first graduated from college, there were like some hard, fast rules about resumes, like it can only be a page and it has to be in this order. But is that still the case, especially with teaching, when there's so many things you may have done or accomplished and you want to include that? So if you're someone who has recently applied to a job through a resume and you feel like your resume was part of the reason why you were able to get the interview or get the job, please respond to Joy's question, because I think it's a good one. And so far, no one's responded to her. I haven't responded because I don't know that I know the answer to that. So, yeah, I think that at this point, I'm tired. I'm not sure what I'm saying anymore, but I'm gonna close the blog here. I do know that I got an email from the people at TeachersConnect, and from now on in my description box, for those of you that were international teachers having a hard time connecting, they've assured me that the link that I include makes it so that you can also join. So I will have a link that is labeled for international viewers or international subscribers. And if you click there, it should not be asking you your school site, if I understand what they were saying correctly. But it should give you the option or the opportunity to join, even though you are not currently teaching in the United States. But first week down, so many more to go that I'm not gonna count. All in all, a good one. I'm just so tired, guys. It's so crazy how quick you go from being just totally rested to just tired and all of that. I'm tired, but I'm excited. So I'm gonna close the vlog here because I just need to lay down. And I will be sure to see you guys next week. If you're about to start, good luck with the start of your new school year. If you're still in summer, continue to enjoy it. And I will see you guys on Monday.